Konnichiwa, my nakama. Your Lankybird Sama is going to guide you through a collection of roguelike deck builders, all linked by one thing: waifus. I'm here to help you resist your weeb temptations and analyze these games soberly. No shame though, I understand the struggle. It doesn't even have to be the obvious best girl from your favorite anime. I've never even read Chainsaw Man, but I'll still click on every single video with this suit and tie Zami. Between NB Royalty Shiver and the collectible card game, I almost bought Splatoon 3 on release. I didn't, because I'm broke. You know, from spending money on all these games you're about to see. So hopefully this YouTube thing will help me make that money back someday. It's strange. I bounced off Chronoarc every time I played it before recording this video, and then had the best run I've had so far. You start by selecting two characters, which will be the basis of your deck. They each have a handful of cards. There's different roles of support, attack, and defense. As you go on, you'll recruit more members. As you'll see on the left side, that's where your cards get drawn to. And most cards that you play will overload the character who plays them, which makes their other cards cost more. Unless it has the swiftness attribute, and then it won't cause you to overload. You'll see at the bottom of the screen there's a card that you can have fixed so that it's always available. It just costs more energy. Each character has a particular unique ability and focus, including you yourself. When you upgrade either the character that you've been fighting with or you yourself, which will increase the card draw options or how much mana is available. So far I haven't found much synergy between characters that really make them explode. Every enemy has the ability to interrupt you during your turn, depending on how many cards you play. This can be a frustrating mechanic because each of the enemies can be at different points in their timer, and they still act on their own turn. So it can be easy to forget where you even are in your turn when you play a card in the middle of a combo, but then all of your enemies attack, and then you're like, oh, well, now there's nothing more I can do. One dude's dead, and I guess I have to end my turn now and they get to act. You go around an overworld map, which I think honestly takes too long even though there's a teleporter. It's a classic randomly generated map problem where you end up going down lots of dead ends that don't actually take you anywhere, and it's a lot of wandering back and forth. There's random stuff you can loot and chests that you need keys for. What is a fun design though is this mechanic of you find these obscured areas and then you're able to choose what sort of shop or event is there, and then it stays on the map, the design of whichever you chose. The bosses each have a particular gimmick. Often it's putting a card in your hand that will interact with their ability. I don't mind ones that make you play around them a bit differently. It just can feel like overwhelming when you're threatened with instant death constantly. I was able to feel like I could scrape out a win, even though half my team was dead, I'm dying. Part of that is due to the death's door mechanic, where you don't instantly die when you get taken below 0 health. You just get put into the negatives and you do have a chance to heal. Before this latest run, I was feeling pretty negative about this game. However, with how well I was able to grok it this last time, how far I went, and realizing just how much there is to unlock all these different characters, and you can use currency to unlock more cards for your own character, I'll probably keep playing. Phantom Rose is not a perfect example of a roguelike deck builder, but as you can see, it is clearly belonging in this bucket of roguelike games catering to the weeb. In Phantom Rose, you draft particular attack and magic cards that have abilities on cooldowns. Most of these have riders where it'll not only do damage but also do an extra effect, and so it's all about how you're playing these together. The overview map is very simple. you're largely just choosing between one or two options. As you can see here, I attacked at the start of the round, which is just because of some upgrades I got in between games. Now when I'm at full health, I get to ambush them. So as you can see, I'm choosing particular attacks that I put in the slots that are available above. And so you have to be deliberate with when you're attacking, when you're defending. There's particular cards that's like, oh, if this is before attack, deal more damage. If this is after attack, deal more damage. The enemy can have cards that say, cancel the card after this one if it's an attack. It's nice to see when the enemy is attacking and when they're defending, because then you can like take different risks. There are a lot of buffs and debuffs in this game, and it's not entirely clear all the time what exactly they do, or when they proc, or what they do when they proc. It's a lot of hoping for the best. There are opportunities to buy more cards. You have a deck maximum where when you go to rest, afterwards you might have to dissolve a bunch of cards to continue going. I've unlocked different booster packs of cards during the matches, and I'm not sure it's really felt like it's added a lot. And maybe that's just the drawback of having one player character. Like, I definitely see how they've designed, they have this whole like ice mechanic, and I can see how they've designed these things to go together, but it doesn't feel the same as working out a strategy on your own when you just unlock the ice cards pack and then you get ice cards that are sometimes helpful, I guess. The bosses are largely in line with the regular matches. They usually have some sort of special buff or debuff that they apply. Because everything is on cooldowns, it means that the randomness doesn't have to do with the cards you're able to use, but instead the order of which you're allowed to play them. So battle to battle can feel very similar. We're just slamming down the same strategy every time. It can get kind of rote and monotonous, but sometimes it's nice to have a bit more of that consistent gameplay. Some of the rooms have chests in them or other items that you find. Something that's addictive is all of these unlockable missions you can do during a run. It enables you to open up loot boxes, which then you can open up more from it. It's either gems or aesthetic stuff like banners. There's like too many currencies. There's a whole game mode called Arcade, which gives you the currency you need to unlock like different weapon skins, and I haven't even bothered. This game is like, alright. Like, I wouldn't judge anyone, certainly not myself, for playing it or having played it. Like, it can be a pretty nice thing to just jump into when you're not feeling one of the meatier deck builders. But it's definitely not like one of the best out there. But if you want to unlock some skins, now you know. Phantom Rose. Library of Ruina is also not technically a roguelike deck builder. But taxonomy is merely the human desire for order in a world of chaos. So, we're covering it. You work in a spooky library in which you turn people into books, and then you burn those books to invite more people. There's lots of dialogue, honestly, most of which I skip. This was the hardest game to come back to after months of not playing to do some capture footage of. I completely forgot how most of it worked. It's a lot of really small granular interactions. I honestly still don't know how the battle completely works, but I can throw people against each other enough that I succeed and win. So it's fine enough. Your die determines initiative, and then you get to see who's attacking you with what sorts of damage types, and hopefully you can select the cards that in a battle you will succeed in by blocking or dodging their attacks, and them not being able to block or dodge your attacks. There are stagger meters and health meters. As you progress in the story and turn more and more people into books, you can then burn the pages from the books to unlock different strategies and different cards, which you can attribute to characters. You can also take the key pages, which is like kind of the stat block of the person you've turned into a book, and apply it to your librarians, giving them different attributes and special abilities. This game has a lot of micromanaging in it if you want it, but I also think it's not super necessary. For how granular it is, the cards honestly don't feel that interesting, because they're kind of always just doing a different order of guard, dodge, puncture, blunt, or slash damage. And then sometimes there's just like different riders of causing bleeding or something. They're not fundamentally changing the gameplay, and you're not able to do anything that feels super synergistic or bombastic. As part of the story, how you upgrade your library is by having really creepy, dissonant battles with ideas. I fought lungs once. I don't know. But these are mostly gimmick battles where if you fail, you just like change your deck to better fit it, and then you jump in and try again. In certain scenarios, you're not actually punished for losing. You can purposefully lose, drawing out the fight to another act, another like opportunity to fight the same people at a lower health. Like they continue on through the library, you fight them again, and that draws it out and gives you more rewards in the end. Even though I was out of this game for a long time and thought I didn't really like it, I wanted to keep playing after taking some footage, because the objectives provide like short-term incentive to keep playing and unlock more levels and continue pushing deeper into the library. And it is a game where you just kind of like can throw stuff at each other, and that's alright sometimes. This might be a game for some of you that don't actually like the roguelike elements of a lot of these deck builders. Monmusu Gladiator. This one I should feel shame for purchasing and not returning immediately. It's honestly just not much of a game. The deck building element is purely for training your little monster waifu girl, poorly drawn at that even. You just play cards to up particular statistics, and then you go into this auto battle where you have timers. You play like one of two abilities until someone dies, and that's the game. I found that sometimes the auto button did or didn't work properly, and so unfortunately that wasn't worth it. And then yeah, your reward is just more cards to boost your little character. Which, honestly, I think that's a fun idea. To use the deck building for not the combat is funny. I don't mind that. It's just neither are fun. You just play as many of the cards as you can before the next battle, and then you just wait through the battle because it's just whatever. I was able to break this game which I mean, any game is fun when you push things beyond what it can bear. If you look at my statistic here, off the charts. Do you know what else could be off the charts? My likes, my subscribers. You could make that happen by hitting the respective buttons. Honestly, this game doesn't deserve that much more attention, but there are more little monster people I can unlock. So maybe if I ever get enough of an audience that I start streaming, maybe I'll play more of this game. You know, maybe you could force me to do that. Last, but honestly has the fondest place in my heart, is Yamafuda Second Station, the hiking card game. My brother, who is an enabler, bought this for me during the pandemic, and I played a lot of it. You know, when you can't go outside and you can't see your friends, sometimes you just go out on hikes with a robot girl and a bucket full of rocks against weird buff genie spirits shaped like animals. This game is extremely simple. You play one card a turn, unless it's a station card. You can use those as many as you like. Walk up the hill, making sure not to get too tired out. Probably the first half of the game can all be beat with the run spam strategy, where you just play run, which is better than most other cards, and then you recur run, and then you just keep running. You go running up that hill. There's uh, actually a lot of different strategies you can develop when the game actually gets more difficult. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you because I played this game on my laptop while my PC was broken, and the Steam cloud like is not syncing up with it, unfortunately. So it made me start all over again. If you beat the game, you then play as the robot. By the way, if I haven't been clear, the blue-haired girl is a robot. It's kind of sad. You play as the robot walking along with her little robot friends afterwards, all alone. I think the lore is that you went ahead of the pink-haired girl all the way to like make it easier for her beforehand. And she has a different like charge battery strategy. Yeah, I don't know. This one, if it goes on sale, it's just like a cute little good time. That sometimes it's really hard to interpret what cards do, and that's okay, because you probably won't lose. I think I just have no objectivity with this game. I think it's really cute. Think it's a creative way to adapt a roguelike deck builder to not just two people fighting each other, but it is very simple, fairly easy for the most part, and can be kind of monotonous. But sometimes in your life, you just gotta do that till 2 a.m. drinking gin. Alright, thanks for joining me in this waifu bucket. Please fight below about who is obviously best girl, or boy, or etc. And stay tuned for more videos in the future. Now, get out of here.